Shocking new details on Trudeau's refugee rush. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. One of the things we've been told since Justin Trudeau's attempt to bring in an arbitrary number of refugees in an arbitrarily short period of time was that, well, we've got to help these people because they're suffering in refugee camps. We've seen ministers of the Trudeau government go over and visit refugee camps. So it was shocking to find out at the Public Safety Committee of the House of Commons that most of the people didn't come from camps. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. We're going to play you some audio now. This is Martin Bolduc. He's one of the senior people at the Canada Border Services Agency talking about the fact that of the 21,000 refugees that have been screened and either are in Canada or in transit to Canada, almost none of them came from camps.
Most of the 21,000 refugees that have made it to our borders were now housed in camps. They have been living in theater for a number of years, renting apartments. So I just want that for precision. They're not housed in camps administered by the UNHCR.
Yeah, can you give me a breakdown? How many from camps? And
I wouldn't be able to tell you the 21,000, how many, but very, very few came out of camps. Most of the people were already living in the countries where we are operating.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. I thought that we had to bring them here quickly because they were suffering in camps. I thought that we had to move so quickly because people were in danger. People were living in horrible conditions. You wouldn't want to live in refugee camps. Apparently, they've been living in apartments. Now, we'd heard some of this early on, that the attempt to bring out some of the early refugees to Canada was being slowed down because people had to sell off apartments or get rid of a lease on an apartment, sell off their cars, things like that. But those were the privately sponsored refugees, people with a bit more disposable income, a bit higher education, a bit more job training, things like that. They're talking about all 21,000 in Trudeau's refugee rush. And what are we bringing in now? We're not bringing in people at the higher end. We're bringing in people at the lower end with low skills, very little English or French, if any at all. But they weren't living in camps. They weren't living in squalor. They were not in danger. So why the rush? And why so little information about this? Conservative MP Erin O'Toole is on the Public Safety Committee. I asked him about that in light of the fact that he, in particular, has asked for a study of the security screening going on.
This is clearly an attempt by the Liberal government to delay examination of two things. When Parliament resumed, we asked for the Public Safety Committee to do two immediate studies. One on the Syrian refugee screening process, because there's a lot of genuine questions. The second was on radicalization. So we've been asking for weeks for this. And then, of course, this week, we hear the terrible tale of 12 young women from Canada going to join ISIS and have families, and some have had children. Minister Goodale has talked, and his office has talked to media about radicalization efforts, but they're blocking the committee from actually looking at this. So the two most pressing security issues facing our country, the committee is blocking, and that's really concerning.
One thing is very clear. The Trudeau government wants very little scrutiny of this project. This is a massive project. Whether you support it or oppose it completely, this deserves, like all government projects do, this deserves some kind of scrutiny from the public, from the opposition. The opposition can't get answers, the public can't get answers, the media can't get answers. We've asked for access to information requests, simple questions, and we've been denied or told you'll have to take a 300-day extension on that. O'Toole is right. This is a government trying to make sure that they bring in as many people as possible with as little scrutiny as possible, and make sure that that scrutiny doesn't happen until long after the last of their refugee rushes inside the country. So what is this really about? Is it about helping displaced people that are in danger, or is it about a vanity project for Justin Trudeau? Is it about future voters for Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party? It's certainly not about helping the most vulnerable. Remember, this is a government that refused to give priority to ethnic and religious minorities, such as Christians, Yazidis, Alawite Muslims, people that are being targeted and killed by the likes of ISIS. They said no to that they would not give them priority. They did say they'd give priority to gays and lesbians who are also being targeted by ISIS, but asked for information on that, they have very little detail. They don't know what they're doing other than rushing people through the door as fast as they can, then warehousing them in hotels because they can't find housing quick enough. This project has been a disaster from beginning to end, and this latest revelation that we're not bringing people in from camps, but rather people living in apartments, well, that just gives more proof to what we've been saying all along.